Okay, so have you ever like cleaned up your computer and you find some like really old file?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I still have this.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's like an embarrassing picture from when you were younger or
Yeah.
like that novel you swore you'd finish one day.
Right.
That always gets me thinking, like, what happens to all our digital stuff after we're gone?
Yeah, it's a question that's becoming more and more relevant these days.
Right. And when you think about it,
Hmm.
there's one type of digital asset that could really cause a headache for your family. That's cryptocurrency.
For sure.
It's not like your regular bank account where your family can just show up with a death certificate.
All right.
So today we're going on a deep dive into the world of crypto inheritance
Okay.
because we want to make sure your crypto doesn't just vanish
Yeah.
if something happens to you. Our guide for this deep dive is Tina Ginn's book, Passing On Your Crypto Wealth. And let me tell you, this book is a goldmine. It's got practical advice and some pretty wild real-life stories.
It really is.
Mm.
One of the things that makes crypto inheritance so unique is that, this whole system was designed to operate outside of traditional financial structures.
Oh, interesting.
So there's no central authority, no customer service number you can call if something goes wrong.
Right, right.
And your access hinges on something called a private key, which is basically a secret code that unlocks your funds.
Okay.
And if you lose that key, poof, your crypto is gone.
Wow. So private keys are really important.
Absolutely.
But Tina's book goes beyond just explaining the basics. She's got this really interesting background.
Yeah.
Because she's both a financial expert and an emergency preparedness coach.
That's a unique combination.
It is.
Yeah.
Which gives her this really practical, proactive perspective.
Yeah, she's really about anticipating those what-if scenarios that most of us try to avoid.
Exactly. And she really drives the point home with these incredible cautionary tales.
Right.
Like there's a story about Kevin, and Kevin accidentally threw out a hard drive with millions of dollars in Bitcoin on it. Millions.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine the panic?
I can only imagine.
It's got to be a nightmare.
It's a perfect example of why Tina stresses the importance of leaving a treasure map.
Okay.
That's her first step to securing your crypto legacy, because you need to provide crystal clear instructions to your loved ones.
Right.
Not only where to find your private keys, but also how to use them.
Right, because there's no bank to call.
Exactly.
And be like, hey, I inherited this account.
Exactly. It just doesn't work that way.
Oh my gosh.
It's the Wild West out there.
That story really makes clear, detailed instructions sound like a must-have.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, what if you go too far the other way?
Right.
Tina has another story
Okay.
about Samantha,
Okay.
who locked her crypto keys in this super high security safe and then
Wait for it.
forgot the combination.
Oh, no.
She had to pay thousands of dollars to break into her own safe.
That is rough.
So this story really highlights Tina's second principle.
Okay.
Keep it safe, but not too safe.
Yeah.
It's all about finding that balance between like Fort Knox
Right.
and that sticky note on your refrigerator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a fine line.
It is a fine line. So accessibility is just as important as security.
It
It's
is.
a delicate balance.
It is.
I'm trying to think, like, how do you explain this to family members who aren't tech savvy? Crypto can be pretty intimidating.
Yeah, it can.
If you've never even used Bitcoin,
It can be a lot.
like, where do you even start?
That's a great question, and it actually leads us to Tina's next cautionary tale
Okay.
and her fourth principle, which is educate your heirs.
Okay.
So she tells this heartwarming but kind of ridiculous story about Grandpa Joe,
Okay.
who tried to leave his crypto fortune to his family by creating an elaborate treasure hunt with cryptic clues.
Oh my gosh, a crypto treasure hunt.
I know, right?
That sounds like it could go hilariously wrong.
Well, it kind of did. Oh, no. His family was totally lost. They had no idea what a seed phrase was
Right.
or how to use a hardware wallet.
Oh, okay, wait. So a seed phrase is like a master password.
It is.
Okay.
And a hardware wallet is a physical device that stores your private keys offline,
Okay.
which makes it much more secure.
Got it. So Grandpa Joe's story shows why you can't just assume your loved ones will know what to do
Yeah,
with your crypto inheritance. You need to explain it to them,
you do.
even if they're not, tech wizards.
Absolutely. Walk them through it step by step,
Right.
and maybe even have them practice accessing like a test wallet
Okay, that's smart.
so they feel comfortable.
I'm realizing now there are so many layers to this.
Yeah.
It's not just like writing down your password on a piece of paper.
No, it's definitely not that simple.
But, what about the legal side of things?
Yeah.
Does crypto inheritance, like, fall into the same rules
It does.
as traditional assets?
It does, yeah. And that's actually Tina's third principle.
Yeah.
Use legal tools before the taxman does.
Okay, interesting.
Because, yeah, crypto, just like any asset,
Mhm.
can be subject to estate taxes and all those legal complexities.
Right.
You definitely don't want the government
Right.
swooping in and claiming a chunk of your hard-earned crypto.
I had not even considered that.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
So does Tina recommend talking to lawyers about this?
She does. She emphasizes incorporating your crypto holdings
Okay.
into your estate planning documents, like wills and trusts.
Right?
This helps ensure that your crypto is distributed according to your wishes,
Right.
and it minimizes the risk of legal complications
Mhm.
or excessive taxation.
I think a lot of people just assume that because crypto is digital,
Right.
it's somehow like outside the realm of traditional legal frameworks.
Yeah, like it's its own thing.
But clearly, that's not the case.
Not at all.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Clear instructions, finding the right balance between security and accessibility, making sure your loved ones, like, actually understand crypto. We've even touched on the legal side of things.
Yeah, we're hitting all the points.
But Tina has one more principle, right?
She does, yeah.
Test your plan. Can you tell us more about that one?
Of course. Test your plan is all about making sure your instructions actually work.
Okay.
You don't want to create this elaborate plan and then it's full of holes when it really matters. So she suggests having a trusted friend or family member actually follow your instructions
Okay.
as a trial run.
Okay.
You know, give them access to a small test wallet with a tiny amount of crypto and see if they can actually navigate the process.
Like a fire drill for your crypto.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so to recap, Tina Ginn's 5 steps to securing your crypto legacy are: leave a treasure map, keep it safe, but not too safe. Use legal tools before the taxman does, educate your heirs, and test your plan.
You got them all.
Okay, good. I like how these principles are all really practical.
Yeah, they are.
Even for people who aren't, like, crypto experts.
Exactly. You don't have to be a blockchain whiz to understand them.
Yeah, it's all about being proactive and making sure your digital assets are handled the way you want.
Exactly.
But for people who are intimidated by all of this, where should they even begin?
That's a great question, and it's totally valid. It can be overwhelming, especially for those new to crypto. But the important thing is just to start somewhere.
Okay.
Just pick one of Tina's steps
Yeah.
and focus on getting that right. Maybe it's writing down clear instructions or researching different hardware wallets.
Right.
Just start with one thing.
Okay, so taking small, manageable steps,
Exactly.
that can make a big difference.
You can.
Okay, cool. So we've explored Tina's 5 key steps,
We have.
and we've touched on how to actually put her advice into action.
Yep.
But there's one more layer to this whole crypto inheritance thing that I find really fascinating.
It's the emotional side of things.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, we're not just talking about money here. It's about passing on a piece of ourselves.
Yeah.
Our digital legacy, all those things we store online, photos, videos, emails, social media,
Right.
they contain our memories, our relationships, our creativity.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's not just about the money.
It's not.
It's about the intangible value
Exactly.
of our digital lives.
And that's where Tina's advice goes beyond just, the practical steps. It taps into something deeper.
Yeah.
She talks about how planning for your digital legacy
Right.
is an act of love and responsibility.
Wow, I like that.
It's about making sure that the things that matter to you are preserved and shared with the people you care about.
It shifts the whole conversation.
It does.
From being this chore to something more meaningful.
It does.
Like honoring your digital self.
Yeah.
And making sure all those memories aren't lost.
Exactly.
It really brings up some interesting questions.
It does.
Like, what happens to our online identity after we're gone? Do we want our social media profiles to remain active? What about, like, those embarrassing old blog posts or that novel we never finished?
all those digital breadcrumbs we leave behind.
Right. But I'm thinking,
Yeah.
isn't telling your loved ones everything about your crypto a bit of a security risk?
That's a valid concern.
Like, what if they accidentally share that information
Right.
or become targets for hackers?
Right. So Tina emphasizes the importance of finding a balance
Okay.
between transparency and security.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to reveal every single detail right away.
Right.
You can use a trusted third party,
Oh, okay.
like an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
or a digital executor service
Okay.
to manage that sensitive information.
So it's like layers of security
Right.
with
Exactly.
different levels of access,
Yeah.
depending on, how sensitive the information is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that. And keep in mind, technology is always evolving.
Mm-hmm.
There are services now specifically designed to help people manage their digital legacies. Oh, wow. That's interesting.
These services can store your passwords, digital assets,
Okay.
even instructions for your social media accounts,
Oh, wow.
and then release them to your beneficiaries when you pass away.
Like a digital will.
It is, yeah.
So should everyone be signing up for one of these services?
It's definitely worth considering, especially if you have complex digital assets
Mm-hmm.
or want to make sure the transition is smooth for your loved ones. But even if you don't use a service, the most important thing
Mm-hmm.
is to start the conversation.
Okay.
Talk to your family and friends
Right.
about your digital life.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know what accounts you have, where you store important information,
Okay.
and what your wishes are.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Take control of your digital legacy
Mm-hmm.
and make sure it's handled with care.
Absolutely.
You know, something else I've been wondering about.
Yeah.
What about those stories we hear about,
Mm-hmm.
those dead man switches,
Right.
where if you disappear,
It like releases your crypto information.
the dead man switch.
Yeah.
Sounds good in theory,
Mm-hmm.
but in practice, they can be a bit unreliable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tina actually has a story about this in her book
Okay.
about a guy named Tom
Okay.
who set up an automated email to send his crypto access details to his brother if he didn't check in regularly.
Okay, that sounds promising,
Right.
but I bet there's a twist.
There is. The email got flagged as spam,
Oh, God.
and his brother never got the information.
Ugh, that's frustrating.
It is.
So even though Tom tried to prevent that,
Yeah.
it still happened.
It did.
That's a good reminder
It is.
that technology isn't foolproof.
It's not a magic bullet.
So should people just avoid dead man switches?
I wouldn't say avoid them completely,
Okay.
but use them with caution and as part of a broader strategy.
Okay.
The key is to have multiple layers of redundancy.
Right.
Don't rely solely on a dead man switch. Make sure your loved ones have other ways to access your information.
Right.
Maybe through a trusted third party or clear instructions you've given them.
So you're saying have a backup plan for your backup plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
Better safe than sorry.
I like that.
Yeah.
As we're talking about all this, all these practical steps, potential pitfalls,
Right.
I keep coming back to that emotional element.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, our digital legacy as a reflection of who we are,
Yeah.
all the memories and connections we've built online.
It's powerful stuff.
It is powerful.
Our digital lives are extensions of ourselves. And how we manage them after we're gone
Right.
really says a lot about what we value
Right.
and the legacy we want to leave behind.
It's like curating a digital museum of our lives.
I love that analogy.
And we want to make sure it's presented in a way that's meaningful
Mm-hmm.
and accessible
Yeah.
to the people who come after us.
Beautifully put.
And I think that's a powerful message
It is.
to leave our listeners with.
It really does make you think. Like, if you could only give one piece of advice to your loved ones about your digital legacy, and not just your crypto, but like everything, all your online accounts, photos, everything, what would you tell them?
Wow. That is a good question.
Mm-hmm.
It really gets to the heart of this whole digital inheritance thing. If I had to boil it all down to one piece of advice, it would be communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to your family and friends about your digital life.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it's too late.
Absolutely.
It's like you're creating a roadmap for them.
Yeah.
So they're not just, wandering around in the digital wilderness after you're gone.
That's a great way to put it. It's a roadmap. And encourage them to do the same for you. It goes both ways.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much this just comes down to communication.
It really does.
Yet it's something we often overlook. I think we're so used to keeping our digital lives private
Yeah.
that we forget to share those important details with the people we care about most.
Exactly. And it's totally understandable, but it's so important to break down those barriers. Think of it this way. You wouldn't leave your family to sort through your physical possessions without any guidance.
Right.
Your digital assets deserve the same kind of care and attention.
That's true. Okay, so to wrap things up, it sounds like the key takeaways from our crypto inheritance deep dive are to be clear, be secure, be legal, be educational, be proactive, and most importantly, communicate.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get it all?
You got it. And if I can add one more thing.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. This stuff can get complicated. There are professionals out there who can guide you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, whether it's an estate planning attorney, a financial advisor, or even one of those digital legacy services we talked about.
Right.
There's no shame in getting expert advice.
I agree. Because, we're all navigating this digital frontier together.
We are.
Well said. Okay, so we've covered so much ground today. From the challenges of crypto inheritance to the bigger implications of securing our digital legacy.
It's been a great conversation.
It has been eye-opening for sure.
It really has.
I want to give a huge thank you to Tina Ginn for her insightful book, Passing On Your Crypto Wealth, which really formed the basis for our discussion today.
Such a great resource.
We highly recommend checking it out if you want a comprehensive guide to this topic.
Definitely.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of crypto inheritance. Hopefully you learned some new stuff. And most importantly, we hope you feel empowered to take control of your digital destiny. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay in control.